Greetings humans, and welcome to a tutorial on Dungeon. My name is Garuda. This module does already have a tutorial, however it uses an older version of the module, so I thought I would make a new one. Dungeon looks like this. You see you have the three buttons, movement buttons, and a block and a sword. Do note that this has a gray background. There is another version of this module, like a sequel, called Dungeon Second Floor, and that has a green background, so make sure you can tell those two apart. The general concept of this module is basically that you are playing a role-playing game, Dungeons & Dragons or something of that type, and we're going to make 15 different movements corresponding to dice rolls that we will calculate, and kill some monsters along the way as well. So, for the first dice roll, it's fairly easy. It's just going to be the first digit of the serial number. And I'm going to put down some other things here that we'll get to as they come up. But the first dice roll is going to be 4. First digit of the serial number. Excuse me. Now, the way you turn dice rolls into movement is that 0, 1, or 2 corresponds to a left movement. 3, 4, 5, and 6 is forward, and 7, 8, and 9 is to the right. If our number ever becomes greater than 10, we're going to subtract 10. If our number ever goes below 0, we're going to absolute value it. It's not mod 10 when it goes below 0, it's absolute value. So 4, that's forward. And now we're on stage 2. For stages 2 through 5, our dice roll is going to be the previous roll we had, so in this case that was 4, plus the stage we're on. So you see the stage counter is right here. So 4 plus 2, that's just going to be 6. Apologies, my computer appears to be lagging a little bit. 6. So 6 is once again going to be forward. Now you see there that the light turned on. That represents that instead of making another movement and calculating another dice roll, we're fighting a monster. Now, this is where the rest of the stuff that I put in here comes up. For fighting monsters, first of all, we need to know what level we are on. In levels 1 through 5, we're always on level 1. 6 through 10 is always on level 2, and then 11 through 15, the level varies. So we'll need to start tracking the level around then. So anyway, we're between 1 and 5, so our level is 1. Next, what you need to do is look at the associated list of monsters for your level, and you are fighting the first monster in that list that you have not fought yet. So we haven't fought any, so it's just going to be the first monster in this list, which is a bat. So then, once we know what monster we're fighting, we scroll down here, and we find the associated actions to defeat the monster. So with a bat, we just need to press sword. And you see the white light goes off, representing that the monster has been defeated. Now, since we do need to know what the earliest monster that we haven't fought is in a list, I'm going to note down that we fought a bat here. For stage 3, we're still on the part of just adding our previous roll and stage number, so this is 6 plus 3, or 9. Now 9 is going to be 7, 8, or 9, so that is to the right. We're going to move to the right. No monster, proceed with the next dice roll. 9 plus 4 is 13, minus 10 is 3. 3 is going to correspond with forward. Now we see that we have another monster. We are still at level 1 because we haven't reached level 6 yet. Levels 1 through 5 again are just level 1. Look at the list. The next one is going to be a snake. Snake has the corresponding symbols block, sword. So press that, and the light disappears. And note down here, snake. For stage 5, once again we need a dice roll. Which is going to be our stage 5 plus 3. It's going to be an 8. We're going to move to the right because it's an 8. Now we're on stage 6. Now our formula for calculating our dice roll is going to change. Instead of just being that addition, we now take our previous roll and we subtract the previous monster we faced. See, every monster when it loads, every monster has an associated number with it. So for example, bat has the number 1, snake is the number 2. So our previous monster, our most recent monster, was a snake. so we're going to subtract 2 from our previous roll. 8 minus 2 is going to be a 6, and 6 is going to be forward. Our monster hasn't changed, so we're just going to subtract another 2. This becomes a 4. Move forward again. Now we do have a monster. And because we are in levels 6 through 10, our level is actually 2. Once again, that's just the level automatically moves up when you hit level 6. So it is important to know that if you fight a monster after level 5, that's still at level 1. If you fight a monster like after the dice roll movement of level 10 or 5, that is still levels 2 and 1 respectively. Anyway, so we are on the first monster in level 2, which is a Cyclops. And Cyclops has the associated symbols sword, block, sword. And the light disappears. Write that down. Now, though, since we fought a different monster, we are now subtracting off a different number for our calculation. Cyclops has the number 5. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. Absolute value is a 1. So for 1, we're going to move to the left. Now we're fighting another monster. Second monster in level 2 is a golem. Golem has the associated symbols block, block, sword, sword. Light disappears. And now, once again, we're going to be subtracting off a different number. Golem has the associated number of 6. See right there. So 1 minus 6 is going to be negative 5, which has an absolute value of 5. So we're going to move forward. Now, stage 10. Well, we don't get to stage 10 because we have yet another monster to fight, which is going to be, again, we're still in just level 2. Third monster in the list, since we fought the first 2, it's going to be a Lich. A Lich is going to be sword left, block right, block sword. Write that down. Now the calculation for level 10. Lich has the associated number of 7. 5 minus 7 is going to be negative 2. Absolute value is 2. So we're going to move to the left. Once again, 0, 1, 2 is left, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we're on stage 11, and this is where things do get complicated, as if they weren't already. So first of all, the first thing that happens when we hit stage 11 is our level is going to move to 3. Now, for stage 11, we need to check these rules here for what we do. If we are at level 1, then we follow this set of rules. If we are at level 2, we follow this set of rules. 3 is this. So we are currently at level 3. You will always be at level 3 for stage 11 because the module automatically moves you up to level 3 when you hit stage 11. That's important to remember. So the roll at stage y minus 5. So y, if you check up here, is a stage number. So 11 minus 5 is 6. So the roll at stage 6 plus m, where m is the last monster fought. Last monster fought is a Lich. So that is going to be 7 plus the roll at stage 6. And you see, this is why I've been noting down all of the rolls that we've had, is because now they all become important. Roll at stage 6 was a 6, plus the 7 for the Lich is going to be a 13 or a 3. So we're going to move forward. Now, notice here, this says decrease the level by 1 after this stage. So we're no longer at level 3, we're at level 2. And this effect of this happening happens right after you make the movement. So this is, I think, what trips the most people up in Dungeon, is that the automatic leveling that happens between stages 5 and 6 and between 10 and 11 happens separate from the movement that is associated with the die. So, like I said, fighting a monster at level stage 5 is going to be level 1. However, with these rules here, the level decreases before you fight a monster. So if the light was lit right now, we would be fighting a monster at level 2, not at level 3. These rules apply as soon as you move. So that is a little bit of a quirk there. Anyways, we need to calculate our roll for level 12, or for stage 12, excuse me. If the level equals 2, which it does, The roll at stage Y, which is 12, minus Z, Z is our previous roll, so minus 3, minus 1. So 12 minus 3 minus 1, 12 minus 4 is an 8. So the roll at stage 8, which is a 1. 1 is going to move us to the left. And now, okay, now the last thing this says here, if X, which is the roll that this stage produced, is less than 2, it was a 1, decrease the level by 1 after this stage. So level now is at 1, and we are fighting a monster. So since we are fighting a monster, we have to check our level. Our level just went down because of this. So we check here, and we've already fought the bat and the snake, so we're fighting the ghost. The ghost has an associated symbols of block, block. Light disappears. And by the way, I should mention, I haven't been tracking which is the most recent monster we fought. It's not just like the lowest one on the list. Obviously, the most recent monster we fought is a ghost. I've been just doing that basically from memory because, you know, most of the time it's not going to be particularly difficult to remember. So, yeah, so the most recent monster would be ghost, as it should be. So stage 13, however, remember we are at level 1, so we're not using this move set here. We're using this one here. The roll at stage Y, which is the stage number, minus 10. So the roll at stage 3. Roll at stage 3 was a 9. We're going to move to the right. Now, though, this says increase the level by 1 after this stage. So our level, instead of being 1, is now 2. So you'll notice that you can only remain at levels 1 and 3 in this part here for one stage at a time. Both of these automatically change your level. However, you can stay at level 2 for long periods if your dice rolls keep falling within this range. So we're at level 2. We're on stage 14. Level and stage are easy to get confused. We're going to take our stage number, 14, minus our previous roll, which was 9. I thought that was 2 for some reason. Minus 1. So 14 minus 9 minus 1, 14 minus 10 is going to be a 4. So the roll at stage 4. Note that this is not your roll. This is the stage you need to check for your roll. So we'll roll at stage 4, which was a 3. So we're going to go forward. We're fighting a monster. Now, the 3 did not change our level, so we're fighting a monster at level 2. We've fought the Lich, so we're fighting the Ghoul. The Ghoul has associated symbols sword forward, block forward, sword, sword. And that's gone. Now we're on level 15. Our level is 2, so we're going to check the rules here. 15 minus previous roll, which was, forgetting now, it was a 3. 15 minus 3 is going to be 12, minus another 1 is going to be 11, so roll at stage 11. This part, of course, the roll at stage X does not get modded 10. So roll at stage 11 was a 3, so that's our roll. We move forward, and the module solves. The module is always 15 stages, however, it does depend. You can get a monster at stage 15, so it could have solved there, or we could have had to fight a monster and do it then. There are a couple of things that didn't come up. You notice that we never fought a monster at level 3. That sometimes happens. A couple of things I want to bring up about fighting monsters. If it ever happens that you fight all of the monsters in a list and then have to fight a monster while on that level, you simply move up a list. So for example, if I have fought everything in level 1, and then I have to fight another monster at level 1, I'd fight the Cyclops. Or if I have already fought the Cyclops, I would fight the Golem. I would fight the most early unfought monster. You never fight repeat monsters ever in this module. So yeah, you just basically move up a list and treat your level as 1 higher. Most often you'll fight all of the monsters in level 2 and then find yourself fighting a dragon because of that, trying to fight a monster in level 2 when you fought them all. That's basically all there is to say about this module. The quirks of how the levels change is the main difficulty, so I'm going to run through another one a bit quicker. I don't actually tend to track the level as I do it in many actual modules when I'm doing it. So I'll show you how I would do it more likely. Our first digit is a 4, so that's our first roll. Gamma. So it's going to be a 4, which is going to be forward. Now, 4 plus 2 is 6. because, again, we're using these rules right here. Previous roll plus the stage we're on. 6 is going to be forward. And you notice that for stages 1 through 5, you can calc that ahead of time. So if you just tell your expert, I have a dungeon, they'll get stages 1 through 5 for you. So then 3 plus 6 is a 9. Go to the right. We have a monster. If you remember, the first monster in level 1 is a bat, which just has associated symbol of sword. Again, you can always check these lists, yeah? The bat is gone. Put that down here. Stage 4 is going to be 4 plus 9, which is going to be 13, which then becomes a 3. 3 is going to be forward. Fighting another monster. That'll be a snake. Snake has the associated symbol of block sword. Now level 5, let's actually write down snake. Plus 3 is an 8. We're going to go to the right. Now our level moves up to 2. You can kind of just track that in your head. And our rule changes. Instead of it being 8 plus 6 being a 4, this is now 8 minus the previous monster, which is a 2, so it's going to be a 6. We're now onto these rules right here, basically. So 6 is going to be forward. Now we fight a monster, which is going to be a Cyclops, I believe. Remember that correctly? Yes, it is. First monster in level 2, which has sword, block, sword.
Emergency cleared.
Stage 7 is going to be 6 minus the associated number of Cyclops, which is 5. Right there. So 6 minus 5 is going to be a 1. So that'll take us to the left. So let's get that down. Now, monster didn't show up, so it's going to be 1 minus 5, which is negative 4. Absolute value is 4. We move forward. Come on. Now we are fighting a monster. Next monster in level 2 is a golem, which has associated symbols block, block, sword, sword. Then 4 minus the number 4 golem is, so 4 minus 6, negative 2. That's a 2. We're moving to the left. Fighting another monster. Oh, I didn't write down golem, did I? And this is kind of like the challenge of the modules. There's a lot to keep track of. And it's very easy to mess something up. And this module is very unforgiving on a strike. After I solve this one, I'll show you what I mean. It basically gives you no chance to recover if you happen to lose track of where you are. So we're on a monster, which is going to be a lich, I believe. Yes, it is. And lich is sword left, block right, block sword. Stage 10. It's going to be 2 minus the number of lich, which is 7, so it's going to be negative 5 or 5. Forward. Now, once again, our level moves up to 3 now. We need to follow this rule here. The roll at stage 11 minus 5 is a 6, plus previous monster, which is going to be a 7 for the lich. So roll at stage 6, which was a 6, plus 7 is going to be 13. 3. 3 takes us forward. For stage 12, it's going to be, we're at level 2 now, because this decreases our level. We're going to have 12 minus our previous roll of 3, minus 1. 12 minus 4 is 8. Roll at stage 8 is a 4. Takes us forward. Fighting a monster. We're at level 2 still. Nothing's changed there. So we're fighting a ghoul. We've already fought the lich. Which is going to be sword, forward, block, forward, sword, sword. I didn't write down the lich, did I? Huh. I'm used to tracking this kind of stuff in my head when I do this. 13, we're still at level 2. It's going to be 13 minus 4, which is a 9, minus 1 is an 8, so roll at stage 8, which is going to be another 4. We go forward. And this is a good example of what I meant about running out of monsters in the list. Our level has not changed. However, we are trying to fight a monster in level 2. We fought all of them, so we need to move up to level 3. It's going to be a dragon, which is going to be 3 blocks, a sword, 2 blocks, a sword, 2 blocks, and a sword. Then 14 minus 4 is 10, minus another 1, since this is still, I'm just applying this rule over and over and over again, or this one specifically. 14 minus 4 is 10, minus 1 is 9, roll at stage 9 is 2. is going to be left. Now, it is important to note that even though we went left, our level does not decrease, because the rule here is less than 2. So it's only 0 and 1, and only 8 and 9 that increase and decrease your level for this part here. Stage 15 is going to be 15 minus 2 is 13, minus 1 is 12. Roll at stage 12 is going to be a 4. I'm going to go forward, and see we have to fight a monster here. But I do know that after this monster, the module will solve. We're still at level 2, so we're going to fight the next monster in this list here, which is a demon. And this demon has a rather complicated set of patterns. Sword, right, left, left, right, block, sword, forward, right, sword. And the module solves. Now, what I did mention about this being rather unforgiving inputs, there is no way to reset this module, by the way. Once you're going, you're going. And also, if you're fighting a monster, I suppose I'm going to have to work through this as quickly to show you what I mean. If you're fighting a monster, 5 is forward, your inputs do not reset on a strike, so you kind of have to keep track of what you're doing. For example, you might be in a situation where you think you're fighting, I'm not sure how this would happen, but you think you're fighting a dragon when you're actually fighting a golem, and you hit block, 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 and the third block strikes you, because golem should be block, block, sword, sword. Then the correct sequence you need to input is sword, sword, rather than the full block, block, sword, sword, because you already inputted those 2 correct ones. So you do need to track that kind of stuff. We just did that. 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 4 is going to be 2, 7, 6. So here, for example, we are on a, what are we on? We're on a Cyclops. So if, say I did sword, block, block, I get a strike for that. If I press sword, this will defeat the monster, since I've already inputted these first 2. And the monster is gone. Now, I haven't been keeping very good notes here, I've just been doing this one in my head, so I'm not going to solve this. I think you have a good sense of the way the module works. There's not really any quirks other than that. Knowing how the levels change is basically the main thing that can trip you up. And, yeah, that's all there really is to this quite fun module, if a bit long. So thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.